When you surrender your time and energy to someone who constantly returns to take more, you eventually reach a state of depletion. Each interaction leaves you with less of yourself than you had before. Taro was a monk who lived in a monastery on a vibrant green hill. He was a person of immense warmth, known for a presence that seemed to stabilize those around him. He spent his days in constant service. He sat with the grieving, listened to the confused for hours, and anticipated the needs of others before they could even ask for help. The other monks called him the light of the monastery. Taro found his purpose in that name. He felt most valuable when he was making himself useful to everyone else. One season, a traveler named Wen arrived. He claimed he had lost everything and needed a place to recover. Taro was assigned to help him settle in. Taro gave Wen his complete, full attention. He brought him food and sat with him every single evening to ensure Wen didn't have to face his loneliness alone. But Wen never asked about Taro's life. Every conversation centered on Wen's struggles. If Taro ever mentioned his own fatigue, Wen would pivot back to his own pain, insisting he would be lost without Taro's presence. Taro felt the weight of this responsibility. Even when he was exhausted, he stayed, prioritizing Wen's demands over his own basic need for rest. Weeks passed, and Wen made no effort to change his situation. He returned every day with the same complaints, visiting Taro only when he needed to extract more comfort. The relationship was entirely one-sided. When Taro became sick and couldn't leave his room for 2 days, Wen never checked on him. But the moment Taro was well enough to stand, Wen was back at his door. A profound, hollow sensation began to grow inside Taro. He felt as though something vital was being siphoned away, leaving a void that nothing seemed to fill. He eventually went to the old master to explain his situation. He told him he had always believed that helping others was supposed to provide fulfillment, yet he felt entirely drained. Pouring energy into someone who refuses to participate in their own healing does not create a shared light. It simply moves the exhaustion from one person to the other. That evening, the master called Taro to the main hall. 2 stone lamps sat on a table in the darkness. The first was full of oil, while the second was bone dry. The master took a small cup and began scooping oil from the full lamp, pouring it into the empty one. He repeated the action again and again. This was a direct physical transfer. Every scoop that filled the second lamp resulted in an equal loss for the first. After the final pour, the first lamp was empty. The master lit the second lamp. It burned with a tall, steady flame that illuminated the hall, while the first lamp sat cold and dark in its shadow. The master asked Taro to identify which lamp represented him. Taro looked at the dark, hollowed-out stone and realized he was the first lamp. Wen was the one now burning with the light Taro had provided. The second lamp does not create its own light. It survives by relocating energy from a host to itself. When that oil runs low, it won't learn to produce more. It will simply look for another source to take from. The master explained that the first lamp was not naturally weak. It had enough oil to burn for a long time on its own, but its fuel was systematically siphoned away until it went out. Takers never learn to generate their own oil. Because they rely on extraction, they will always move on to a new lamp once the current one is dry. A lamp that is dark can help no one. You cannot light a room if you allow your own flame to be extinguished. Protecting your own capacity to burn is not a selfish act. It is a logical necessity. An unrestricted policy of giving to those who only consume leads to an inevitable operational failure. Taro stayed in the hall for a long time, looking at the lamp that had once been full. He saw the cold stone and understood exactly where his own energy had gone. The next morning, he did not go to Wen. He stayed in his room and rested, allowing his own reserves to replenish for the first time in months. Wen did not wait. As soon as he realized Taro was no longer available, he found another monk to sit with, a new lamp to provide the energy he refused to create for himself. If you feel completely empty after giving everything to someone else, consider your own oil. Tell us your experience in the comments, and share this with someone who needs to prioritize their own light.